Welcome back after a short little 2-week break. We're going to resume our training videos, our in-depth look at the 2018 GHSA state finals. Today we're going to resume it with the 5A game. This was a bit of a lengthy game. I went to a few overtimes there at the end. A little bit of controversy at the end we'll get a little bit into. I don't want to get too deep in all that. But one thing we do need to discuss on that point. So we're going to start with some mechanical stuff, particularly umpires. So we have the mechanic where umpires, if there's a pass over the middle that you can help with, you will turn with the pass and kind of help with passes over the middle. In this game, we had several times the umpire turning and watching passes that really would have no help. He would be no help in. Umpires, remember, you're just going to turn and look with the pass if it's one you can offer assistance with. Like this one, we have a pass way outside the hashes to the numbers, and you see the umpire turning and looking. Not really something we can help with there. Same thing, this is the next play. Again, pass out to the flats. You can see the umpire turn and look with this pass. Again, this is not really a pass he can offer assistance on. Also on this play, not related to umpires turning and look, I do want to talk about this kind of hit at the end. This is a good example of having a launch but not having targeting. As you can see, he launches, but he's got his hands out in front. He kind of stops his momentum. This is an example of how you can have launching, which is an indicator of targeting, but not actually have a foul. That hit, it looks a lot worse than it actually is. So this is a good job here in not flagging what looks like it could be, a little bit of a hit. And again, good example of a launch, but not targeting. Continuing back with the umpires. Again, to have the umpire watching, you're not really umpire in a play like this. We still want you looking in the middle because you're not really going to help out in that situation. Same thing here, turning immediately. Let's keep our eyes in the middle. Keep our eyes on our keys. In the crew of 7, we can really afford to stay with our keys a little bit longer. Same thing here, turning and looking way too soon. A couple more clips, just kind of get the point across. And this one I can give him a little bit of, I can see some leeway, unless you can tell that pass is really going over your head. Really, it's short passes over the middle we would need the umpire's help on. This is, unless deep pass over the middle, we got the back judge right there in a crew of 7. And then last one, again out the flats. We don't really need umpire help there. Or not out the flats. This is corner of the end zone. Don't really need the umpire turning and looking, especially now. You're kind of something going on behind you, and you really don't have an idea what's going on. So remember, umpires, with short passes over the middle is where we need your help on. Let the deep ones and flats and outside numbers go. Alright, some formation issues in this game that need to be discussed. Most of it dealt with tackles, guard tackles on one side being off the line. But it kind of culminated and it kind of bit us in the butt at the end. So if we go back, between the 40s it's going to be easier for us to see. When we're outside the 40s, it's going to be a little bit harder. But as you can see, it looks like right here, this tackle especially may be off the line. Remember, the head, we want the head of the lineman to break the hips of the center. So we may, we're close. Early in the game, talk to him. Say, hey, get up. Here we're inside the 40s, so we can see a little bit better. This one's close, but we want that head. Here we have the center's hips. We really want the head really breaking the plane there. So that was not too bad. This one, I think our tackles could be a little up. And really, if you look at them in relation, if you look at the right side in relation to the left side, it's where it really looks bad. Yeah, he's probably barely breaking the center's hips, if at all. But you just compare it to the other side, and it looks really bad. And especially in a pass protection, the lineman being off the center a little bit is an advantage to the offensive lineman, because it gives them an extra step on these defenders. So we want to make sure we're consistent in how we apply this. Here, I think the tackle's way off. I think this is one we should have popped them for. And this is play 142. So we're deep in the game here. As you can see, I think if you draw a line, I don't think he's close. And I'm not sure if he's supposed to be on or off. So let's see. He's off. He's off. We got 4. So he's probably supposed to be on the line. Yeah, he should be on the line, because you already have your 4 in the backfield. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he's not. He's nowhere near on. So he needs to come up a little bit. This one too. The center's hips are just in front of this white line, and you see these two are off, which he may supposed to be off. Yeah, he's probably supposed to be off. Which, I mean, you still got 8 on the line, but the tackle's off. Alright, so this is where it became an issue. This is play 209, so I think we're in overtime at this point. And so we've been struggling with the tackles all game. Kind of been in no man's land. And we see the flag come out, and then we got a touchdown. And this is an overtime, so touchdowns are, even more pertinent than they are in regulation. So the play here is going to be illegal, or the foul is going to be illegal formation. So here we're going to look at the GPV version, and just a snapshot real quick. This is second overtime. Bainbridge is the team in white. They're down 38-41 in the second overtime. This is 3rd and 9. So we're going to flag for this guy being off the line. And, as you can see, if we go back and look at some of the previous plays that we've been letting go, he's really not that bad off in comparison to what we had allowed throughout the game. Is he technically off the line here? I don't think he's breaking the center's hips, so yes, he is off the line. The problem is consistency. We kind of been letting those tackles and the ends in a couple of those plays be off the line all game. Now, 3rd and 9 in the second overtime, we're finally gonna flag it. It's not good. It's not how we want to operate as officials. We want to be consistent throughout the game. We don't want to wait till overtime or in-game situations to start flagging stuff like this. So we're just gonna keep that in mind. Talk to your tackles. Talk to your ends. If you're gonna flag it, do it early. We want to stay consistent. So this is left tackle issues. So pretty much the same thing. Whereas before we were looking at the right tackle, now we're looking at the left tackle. Same thing. He's off. If he's breaking the center's hips, it's barely. You can see this receiver, the slot guy who's supposed to be on, he's probably even further ahead than the tackle. So again, we let that go. This is play number 26. So this is early in the game. You're probably still in a talking point situation. Same thing here, left tackle. If he's on, he's barely. But again, you look at this in comparison to the overtime play that we flagged, and it's really not that bad. It's probably very similar. So again, just consistency. So here we're going to have a blatant false start. Tight end right here, he is covered up, got his hand on the ground. We got to change the play, an audible. Now he picks this. At this point, he has committed a false start. So if you're a covered up receiver or lineman, once that hand goes on the ground, it has to stay on the ground. So you see again, let's go back to the beginning. He is covered up. He's got his hand on the ground. He's good now. He's moving around, but keeps his hand on the ground. But now we have committed a false start. We're going to look at this as a DPI. This is a tight game throughout. You know, we want to let them play. So a lot of people thought this should have been a DPI. You know, I think it's probably a good no call there. You know, championship game, tight game. We want to let them play a little bit. I do not think he has any kind of early enough contact to really kind of deviate the receiver's route. I think the receiver just dropped this pass. So I think this is a good call. For false start here, we want to watch this inside receiver. There's also a good example of a team being set for a second. As you can see, everyone's set for a second. Watch the white hat, ready for play, has not been blown yet. They're waiting. Here comes the ready for play. And now we're ready to snap the ball. Problem is this inside receiver is going to commit a false start right there. So I think probably should have shut this down quicker. Maybe we did. I don't have the whistle. But that inside guy, as you can see, he flinches right there. And again, this is also a good example of a team. You see, they're ready. They're ready to begin. Everyone's set for a second. Now you got the ready for play. If they're set for a second, even before they're ready for play, as soon as that whistle's blown, they can snap it. It does not have to be set for a second after they're ready for play. Going to be a bit of a non-issue going to 2019 with the 40-second clock. But in instances where we will have it ready for play in a 25-second, we still have that rule or philosophy, I think is more like it, where you can be set for a second before they're ready for play and then snap the ball as soon as the ready for play is blown. So this play is very close. It appears the pass is caught just past the line of scrimmage, which would make all this contact illegal. But it's close, and we want to give them some benefit of the doubt. So let's see. We got, I think we're at the 21 is where the line of scrimmage is. See, it's just past it. Wing is in a good position right there. Look, he's in a good position, looking straight down. This wing is looking straight down. So we let it go, and I think it's fine to let this go. You know, it's close. You want to give them some benefit of the doubt. We don't want to be egregiously downfield. In that case, we would flag it for all that contact right here on the screen. But I think it's a good call. Just kind of letting that go as close as it is. Television audience thought this was hurling. It's hard to say without an end zone view. Look, I mean, it looks close, but you can't say for certain. But it just kind of tells you how close a lot of these things can be. It looks like he's probably going over a gap. But again, without the end zone view, it's really hard to tell. We don't have the end zone view. TV view didn't really show it cleanly. But just remember the rule. If they're jumping over a gap, it's fine. They just can't jump straight over another player. Okay, so this is the play we had the controversy about. A couple of things to talk about on this play. One is rules related. Obviously, this is a great call for roughing the kicker. Background, this is in overtime. So, the GHSA, we have different overtime procedures than what is recommended or what is addressed in NFHS. GHSA overtime procedures similar to college, so we start in the 15 instead of 25. But a lot of those rules still exist. One thing we don't do in GHSA overtime is how we carry over the fouls. We try to make it to where virtually no fouls carry over. That way everything starts on the 15. Each new drive to the beginning of overtime starts on the 15. We do everything we can to make sure that happens. So we don't allow a lot of fouls to be carried over. So that kind of presents a problem here with roughing the kicker. Roughing the kicker is automatic first down. Remember in National Federation rules, the only automatic first downs are the roughings. Roughing the kicker, roughing the passer, roughing the holder, roughing the snapper. Those are the only ones that carry an automatic first down. So the controversy that arose in this play was we have a made field goal. But, and this is overtime. So you get your choices here. You decline the penalty and keep the points, or accept the penalty and be first down, first and goal from, I think they're on the 3, so first and goal from the 1.5. In overtime. So those are the options. Obviously, different schools of thought depend on, some people say that's an easy choice. Yeah, take the points. A lot of people say, you never take points off the board. Some people think, hey, you got 4 fresh downs. The controversy arose where, the coach says one thing. He said he was not afforded the right options. The officials say they did afford him those right options. Not going to get into all that because it's just a he said, so there's no point getting into all that. But the lesson we can take from this is in in-game situations where these kind of decisions matter. In any conference with a coach, we want 2 officials. And I think in this instance, I'm not sure. Hopefully we had both the wing and the deep asking the coach. That way both of them are there. They can both hear it. In a situation like this, I would highly recommend that the white hat go over to the coach and make sure there's another official present and thoroughly explain the options. When he gives an answer, kind of make sure, okay, this is what you want. Because this is a situation where it needs to be explained, and it needs to be explained thoroughly so that everyone's aware of the options. So that's the lesson we can take from this. Alright, that's it for the 5A game. It was a well-called game. It was a very good game, one of the best games of the weekend. So, but hopefully there's still a lot we can learn from it. Hopefully you get a lot out of this video. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with the 6A game.